Getting to the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talent. Every challenge I overcome. Low key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm handling business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing or continuing my Pluto through the sign series with Pluto in Leo or Pluto in the fifth house. And so, what is Pluto? Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and it lives in the eighth house. It rules death, rebirth, transformation, hidden knowledge, crisis, joint finances, debt, taxes, insurances, people who owe you money, and money you owe other people. So this could be like bills, credit, debt collectors, and things of that nature, student loans. It could also be government money like SSI and welfare. This is also childhood trauma and having to do deep research into dark taboo themes to do some kind of healing, or again just to find hidden knowledge to get to the truth of something. Psychology, what makes people tick, detectives. This could also be any of the parapsychology, so astrology, numerology, alchemy, tarot, palmistry, any of the divinations. And Leo is a fixed fire sign. It lives in the fifth house, and it's ruled by the sun. And because the sun is so powerful, these are people who reach the highest potential in their fields. So generals, soldiers, presidents, CEOs, or these could be like high priestess, people who reach their highest level of spiritual divination practices and knowledge, like the elders. I think of elders, people who are seen in high regard or highly sought after for knowledge and information, healing. Very powerful people. And the fifth house is fun, play, love, romance, dating, clubbing, sports bars, sports, amusement parks, your casual sex life, the creatrix, which is the point of conception. So having a baby, pregnancy, or your creative energy, or just your children in general, fame, any kind of creative project or self-expression, so self-made, um, you know, some kind of creative thing that you do that can be turned into a business. Um, Gambling, investments, and your bucket list, the places that you would travel that you've always wanted to kind of do. Um, yeah. And so this placement was a little bit tricky for me to decode because I feel like it's the ego. It's very masculine. Um, I feel like these can be situations where people at a very young age grew up to somebody who's super powerful and they were put in a position to have to live up to their powerful parents' expectations or walk in their footsteps. I kind of relate this energy to be very tribal because Leo can be like considered the ruler of Africa and the traditions of African land and living. But obviously, everybody listening to this isn't going to have that. And so, how I broke it down in my mind, how I view this position is people who, at a very young age, there's some kind of pressure, tension, um, or extreme focus on having to live up to a parent who is very highly sought after in a high position, having to live in their footsteps. And nothing that they did could have ever been good enough, or it just seemed like it was so insurmountable that it was impossible to achieve. And you either fall short and end up, in criminal activities, being a bully, or very shy, um, distant, closed off, and kind of shallow, not believing in yourself, um, and struggle with finding your super powerful creative potential. Um, and I specifically see this happening if the relationship is a man to a young boy, or a woman to a young girl, right? But a man to a young girl, I see he puts his all into teaching him everything he knows. Like I think of Muhammad Ali and how his daughter is pretty much his heir and lives up to her potential or his potential. Um, where he taught her everything that he knew and took the time out to do that and really put a lot of care and love and heart into training her to be a boxer, and so this could be situations where a young girl grows up very tough. She could take care of herself. She knows how to vet a potential partner. She might not be too worried about falling short in the romance department. She is a woman who doesn't need a man, but she wants a man, you know? Um, and so she might be very strong-willed and have very strong values, and she's willing to wait to find the right person to live up to. Pluto doesn't do shallow. And so even though Leo rules um casual dating and casual affairs, especially sexual affairs, this person isn't going to be thrown by that. She's going to own her power and know who she is enough to not rush into a relationship. Um, and the same goes if it's a mother to a young boy. That relationship is going to be really strong, where he's going to have all the knowledge and information he needs to vet a potential partner. He's going to know, he's going to be emotionally secure. He's going to know how to take care of a woman. He's not going to be afraid of a woman's strong potential or you know, um, be afraid to love a woman the way a woman is supposed to be loved. Like he will cherish her, honor her, and not be afraid to be in love with a strong woman. Like those are the basics of what how I view this potential placement. So on the lower expression, these people, assuming they have a powerful parent, could fall um, into really bad habits if they don't live up to their potential, especially if they had a powerful parent who was like a drug dealer or um, was a powerful person but got a bad rep. Um, I think of like cops who are very well known in the community, but later down the line, you find out that they're a crooked cop or that they've done some crooked things in their position. And a child might resort to being a bully, um, selling drugs, becoming a kingpin, um, and living through his parent by doing a better job by having foot soldiers who do work for him, but he runs a tight ship. And if anybody plays him, they get got, you know? These people will get payback if you do something to them on that lower expression. Pluto got that little stinger, they get back, you know. Um, or these can be the people who are set out to get people back. You understand what I'm saying? Murder for hire type of stuff, you know. It might not even really be drug kingpin because they're not necessarily doing it for the money or not even the glitz and glamour. That part of Leo kind of gets shrunk where it's more like ego. It's a little bit more about that masculine energy. Like, I need to show my strength. I need to show that that you should fear me, or that they don't have any fear. Or these could be like daredevils, stunt devils, and things of that nature. Very strong-willed, but in the wrong context, clearly you can see how it can go very, very wrong, right? Um, I think of um these people, again, they're not very um confident in themselves. They can be very shallow to the point where they don't really do casual sex. These people can wait, they can wait it out. Um, or it's more, their sex life is more, it's not so much about the intercourse, it's more about the intimacy, you know? I don't know why uh foot fetishes came to my mind because that is so Pisces. But but I think of like sexual encounters that have to do with, somebody doing it with their feet or with their clothes on, where it's just a lot of rubbing and touching and very intense in that kind of way. But not the actual act of having sex. Um, these could be like very, very beautiful people, but they'll date down. Um, they'll date below their beauty exterior. I know that sounds crazy, right? Like, why is that even important? But it's more so because these people really don't see themselves how other people might see them. They can be very creative, but they'll hide it and not show it to everybody because they're so afraid of not getting the correct um you know, admiration for it, right? Because they really don't believe in themselves. Um, or this could be like they are famous, but these would be the people who are like producers who bring people on. Again, there's something about an entourage or a following or being super influential because of the position of power that they're in, but they could be very ruthless, where they make it a terrible uh, environment to work in, or you have to do certain things, or it can be just very unpleasant, or just very hood, where there's guns and gangs involved, um, or drugs and drinking involved, or over partying and um, um, just some unhanded situations going on where you get a deal, you do your song, but they don't promote it like they're supposed to, or they don't really show you the ropes, or it falls flat. Things like that. It could be there's always going to be two extremes to an energy. It's going to be different for everybody, but yeah. I mean, they could even be a really good artist or even a writer. These might be the people who are behind the scenes, the PR person who's giving the advice on how to show up in case of a situation, or it doesn't even have to be in case of. These are just the people who are like, this is how you do this. This is, what a PR person is. They show you the ropes and how to respond to backlash and the good stuff too. Keep your nose out of the limelight when unless you're on the stage, or you know what I mean, things of that nature. um um yeah. um on the other hand, I'm going back to the tribal piece, where I feel like these people could be grow up with very powerful spiritual parents, and these are people who are like into drums, the singing bowls, the tribal dancing, spells, and alchemy. Um, speak to the dead or your ancestors. Very, again, strong creative abilities with these people. They could live a double life and have a lot of secret affairs. Um, but again, they don't do shallow. So I don't see these people as not already being married, or even being married at a very young age and staying in relationships for a long time, but they live a double life. This person could be gay, lesbian, or whatever, and have a whole wife and a whole man on the side, or another woman, or vice versa. You know, um, these could be like bookies. I definitely think Vegas, Fight Club, gambling and investments in that sense. A lot of betting on particular things. Whenever I think of Vegas, I think of Leo. And it definitely is a bunch of Pluto and Leo kind of stuff. Pluto is, you know, all again, the taboo things that go on in Vegas, or the hood stuff, or um, you know, cartels and the big gangs, that you're indebted to. I always see Pluto as debt. And debt could get real ugly when you're talking about big money, big people, big presentations. And Leo is every bit of that, right? And so I always think of whatever Vegas is like when it comes to gambling is so Pluto and Leo to me. Just use your imagination. Think of any movie, right? That's how I feel. Extreme fighters, rough sex, very passionate, intense sex. They can have very powerful children. And the children again can grow up to be extremely powerful people and walk in their footsteps. These people tend to be very well known, whether they're really famous or not. And they'll tend to have an entourage. Or again, these are the people people will line up to see them just to get their advice in whatever field it is in, to talk to them, to be next to them, to be close to them. That's just the type of energy um, Leo brains comes with, you know. I do think for the most part, though, it could be kind of the opposite. It really just depends, like how you really grew up and who your parents were are going to have a big reflection in this particular position. But overall, these people are naturally talented. It's like, was it nurtured and encouraged as a child? And that's going to determine whether or not those things show or you capitalize on it, right? And if you have a hard time with it, it's more so about doing the healing, going back and understanding why your childhood was the way that it was. Ask for forgiveness, do the healing work, take control back of your life and turn that fear into power and rise like the phoenix. You know, it's going to be different for everybody, but this is just my interpretation of Pluto and Leo, or Pluto in the fifth house family. As usual, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.